Good morning and welcome to this year's Navarathri 2022. I will start with the steps first. The steps, as usual, you have Durga Lakshmi, Saraswati, and the Playar and all that in the first stage. The Dashavataram in the second. This year, the new addition is the Ashtalakshmi, as you see here. That is on the third stage. Of course, you have Ayyappa and Shiva and Avayar and Shanmukar and all that. In the fourth, you have Ramar Pattabhishekam, Veena Sharata and Rajarajeshwari Darbar. You have all the gurus, all that in six, and of course the animals and all that in seven. Of course, we have a pair of elephants which is protecting the whole thing on both sides. You have the Ramayana, Parayana and Rama Puja and all that here. So this is as far as the steps are concerned. Here is an overall view of the theme for this year. And let me go and near it and explain. This year we start with the theme for us is what is called Nava-vidha Bhakti. As you see here, Sevanam, Kirtanam, Vishnoho, Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanive. So the context for this is Hiranyakashipu and Prahlata. Hiranyakashipu was so sort of upset with Prahlata. He was not happy with his ways of doing things. So he asked him, what have you actually learned and what is the way to succeed in life? That's when he said Bhakti is very important. He talks about 9 types of Bhakti, which is what this shloka is. This comes in Srimad Bhagavata. Now when you talk of Bhakti, Narada is inevitable because Narada's Bhakti Sutra and so on. So here is Narada. He talked about 11 types of Bhakti. Even Viraha Bhakti of Krishna and Gopis, that also is kind of Bhakti as added and so on. With that we will start. The first Bhakti is Shravanam. Shravanam, moment you say, what comes to our mind is Shuka Maharishi. Giving in Naimisharanya, you have the Himalayas and the Naimisharanya, Ganges and so on. In Naimisharanya, he actually gives 7 days of discourse. Parikshit listens to it, others also listen to it, and he achieves his moksha and all that. But the background for that, of course, is when Parikshit one day went in search of hunting, there was a rishi, and when the rishi did not answer, he was in deep penance. He put a dead snake around his neck. Rishi's son cursed him that in 7 days you will die, and that's the background to this. This is one. The other important story in Shravanam is Hayagriva actually listens to Lalitamba, and that's how the Lalita Sahasranamam came. So this is the other part of the Shravanam Bhakti. We will move on to the next, which is Smaranam. Moment you say Smaranam, what comes to our mind is this Gajendra Moksha. The crocodile grabs the foot and then it throws the flower. You see the red color flower, and then Mahavishnu comes and then redeems. This is there in Bhagavatam. But basically this Gajendra was actually Indradyumnan, a king, and when Durvasa came, he did not pay attention. So because of his deep bhakti and remembrance of Vishnu, and Durvasa cursed him, and that's how the curse was released. Other elephants go away on seeing this crocodile. That is what is enacted here. So that is Smaranam. Then we'll move on to the next, which is what you call it as Archanam. Moment you say Archanam, what comes to our mind is Kannappa Nayana's story. So that has been enacted here. We all know that story, how he, out of his bhakti, he even pierced one of these eyes and so on. So that is being enacted here. But there is another interesting story in Mahabharata about Archanam. Here Arjuna is bringing flowers in his hand, but every day when he sees there is already Archanam which has already happened. So he gets confused. One day when he deeply prays to Shiva, Shiva appears and tells him, before you come, your elder brother Bhima has already done the Archanam. And he asks how, then he says Manasik Archanam. Manasik Archanam is very powerful, so that is enacted here. This is for the Archanam. Then comes another Bhakti, which is Pada Sevanam. Again, the most shining example for Pada Sevanam is Bharata's Paduka Pattabhisheka. He really worshipped his elder brother Rama and he conducted the Ayodhya, Nirvahana for 14 years. So that is what is enacted here. Of course, we also know that Lakshmi is Pada Sevanam to Vishnu. So that is always another story. So that makes it Pada Sevanam. Here you have, just in front of it, you have the Atmanivedanam. And in Atmanivedanam, the best story is story of Markandeya. When Yama came with his Pashakair and tried to take away Markandeya, Markandeya went and offered himself totally. Atmanivedanam is surrendering oneself totally to the Lord. So he offered himself to Shiva, and then when Yama tried to put the Pashakair around Shiva, you know all those stories. So that is what it is. The other Atmanivedanam is the story of Andal. Andal was in deep bhakti with Vishnu, and what you see here is every day when she offers the malai, she checks it in the mirror and sees whether things are okay, and so that is enacted here. Here is Nammalvar sitting, and she offers it to Lord Vishnu. This is Srirangam. You have Kaveri and Kollidam, so in between is Srirangam. Two rivers are going on both sides, and finally she surrenders and merges with the Lord. So that is the Atmanivedanam. Another bhakti is, of course, Dasyam. Again, moment you say Dasyam, we should remember Hanuman. Hanuman is the ultimate example for Dasyam. And what you see here is, wherever Ramayana is being, Parayana is made, Hanuman is there. That is his strength of Ramadasa Bhava, the Dasya Bhava. Of course, from Ramayana we have just put one or two. He meets Sita Mata, and thus, this Angluya Pradhanam and all that is enacted here. Of course, he went to Himalayas and brought the entire hill in search of Sanjeevani. So when it happened two times, this is the second time when Lakshmana is seriously ill, and that's when he went and brought it. There are four types of herbs. He didn't know where to look for it. One is called Mrita Sanjeevani, which is life saving. Second one is called Vishalya Karani, which is pain relieving. Then you have Suvarna Karani, which is wound healing, and then you have Santana Karani, which is bones joining. He didn't know what to bring, he brought everything. So that is enacted in Dasya. The next bhakti is Sakyam. And moment you say Sakyam, I think again the shining example is Kuchela. Kuchela is such a bhakti with Sakya, with Krishna. And Krishna actually ascended him on the throne when he came to visit him. He has in his hand, he has this aval, that beaten rice in this bag. So when he came, Krishna actually put him on the throne, and then along with Rukmini was always perplexed. Along with Rukmini, he was actually doing his, Pada Prakshalanam and all that. That is a kind of Sakya Bhakti. And because of that, at his wife's insistence, Kuchela went. So when from a very poverty kind of a house, they got into a very palatial house, and all that is being enacted here. That is Sakyam. Then you have what is called Kirtanam. Again, moment you say Kirtanam, what comes to our mind is Sangeeta Trimurtis. You have Tyagaraja, they are in Tiruvayar. Tyagaraja, Muthuswami Dikshitar, and Shyama Sastri. We know what kind of contribution they have made. The other is this Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is a great bhakti movement in the eastern part. This is again Kirtanam, and here it is Jagannatha, Balabhadra, and Balrama. So he is coming out of the temple, his Sishyas are also there. It's a great bhakti movement. That's what you see here, the second one. Third one is, of course, Mirabai, in terms of all the bhakti she showed through Kirtana and so on. The next one is Vandanam. Now in Vandanam we have enacted two stories. One story is the story of mango to be given, and then who should be given. So Shiva and Parvati says whoever goes around the world 3 times. Ganesha was so intelligent, he went around his parents. That was the bhakti he had. Worshipping parents is as good as, the whole universe. So he went around, we know the story. Whereas our poor Subramanya is still coming. You see here, he is here. He is still flying in his... he is yet to come. So that is being enacted here. Whereas already... Ganesha has got his thing. The other part of Vandanam is also very strongly you find in Bhagavatam. Akrura is such a great devotee of Krishna that when Kamsa, sent him to fetch Krishna and Balarama, so he was all the time thinking of Krishna, and as he approached, Brindavana, he could see the footprints of Krishna, and he kept on doing namaskara of the footprints, and he reached Krishna and Balarama. This is very strongly articulated. So this is also another type of bhakti. So we have kept all these for this year. That is the theme. In fact, there is one more bhakti which is Viraha Bhakti, Radha and Krishna and Rasa Krida. So to indicate that, we have kept also that at one corner here. Of course, you have the other usual decorations for Navaratri. So those are here. And with that, I think we come to an end of Navaratri display and descriptions for the year. We pray to Durga Lakshmi, Saraswati, Kula Devata and Ishta Devata to bless all of us with peace, prosperity and happiness. Thank you.